Good afternoon, and welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to our Stranded Forever modded Minecraft Let's Play series. So I do want to go ahead and say I do apologize. I don't know if you guys saw the post I made on the description or the discussion page on my YouTube channel, but of course these episodes are coming out a day late for today. That is due to the fact that our Qantas server play got pushed back a day due to server issues and stuff, and then I was up all night working on there and getting started and everything. So if you guys haven't checked out that, be sure to take a look. There's a fair number of us participating in that server play, and it's been a ton of fun. I want to say there's like 20 something people in there, so do check it out. It's with the FTOG group, and actually Sheridan that created this pack, him and I are actually living together and building and everything, and so it's a bit of fun. I'm still trying to get my schedule on par with his, because my schedule, of course, if you guys know, as you guys probably know, my schedule is all jacked up all the time, so I'm trying to get my sleeping patterns kind of more in tune with his. Of course, he's in the UK, so we're a little bit off, but my schedule doesn't even match like other people in the US. Is like I woke up today at 11 p.m. so it's all messed up. But anyways, welcome back to Stranded Forever, and you'll notice that I did clean up all the sand. Changing up the lighting is going to be probably my next focus. Once I finish sealing this in, I did get this other section here done and started working out here. You'll notice I died here. This cactus barrier is just falling apart because of all the sand. So, yeah, I've kind of just given up trying to repair it and keep it, taking care of it and everything. Now, I did notice that the sand stopped building up in here. Once I got this part filled in, the sand has quit going through here, because I actually just had a sandstorm and I didn't have any sand show up in here. So, very, very good. It's strange because it seems like anywhere that the tumbleweed things can hit, I think, is where the sand builds up. I don't know. I don't know for sure. So anyways, today we're going to do a couple things. First off, I will say that the sound whenever you die has been changed, and it's quite enjoyable. So it made me laugh. But also, we're going to start getting into tiny progressions. It was actually just added to I forget, every time that I update, I have to switch this. So anyway, tiny progressions has been added to the pack now. Now this adds a really, really nice block, which is the Cobblestone Generators. So we're gonna get that ASAP. That is very, very important for us. We are gonna need a couple buckets. So anyway, for those of you that haven't played with tiny progressions yet, it is an absolutely wonderful mod, and what it does, it adds, in addition to a few other blocks, it also adds cobblestone generators. So what these do is they're just a single block that you can place down, and they're going to produce cobblestone for you, just like the extra utilities ones would or something. Now there's different tiers. Like, for example, the cobblestone generator, fairly slow. So we're going to go ahead and just straight up upgrade it to the tier 2, which just takes a bit of iron. And actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I'm actually going to want 2 of these. So, to start out with. So let's go ahead and just snag a second one here. And then let's go ahead and get our tier 3, which just takes a bunch of diamonds. And our tier 4, it requires blaze rods. That's something we don't have a ton of right now. But that's fine. Honestly, a tier 3 is going to do fine for our needs, I'd say. At least for the time being. And then we'll update it. We'll update that later on. So, once I have more blaze rods on hand. So, anyways, what this is going to allow us to do is it's actually, let me actually get some cobblestone here. It's going to allow us to get rid of these source blocks, because of course the lava is increasing our heat. It's definitely not going to hurt to get rid of it. Plus, all these speed upgrades and all that stuff in here, being able to get rid of those is going to free up a bit of our GP. So, we're not going to have to use our GP anymore. I'm going to have to get some conduits. I'm actually going to take off that armor for right now. But it's not going to use up our GP, and it's also going to cut down on the total like heat being generated within our home. So that will definitely come in handy. And so this cobblestone generator, what you can do after you place it down, it's running. It requires no power or anything like that. And you can actually just like right click here, and you'll notice I got a stack of cobblestone. Because basically it has an internal buffer of... Okay, I was wondering why this barrel wasn't getting cobble. I forgot that pumped into the barrel and the barrel output. This thing has a buffer of a stack of cobblestone that it can hold. But if you plug up any conduits or anything like that, it'll automatically output. And then let's go ahead and clean this one up. I'll be happy to get rid of all these source blocks, honestly. And then now we can just come back here and we can, let's see, this was set to extract on red and green. So we'll just set this one up like right here now. We'll say you extract on red, always active, and then we'll plug up another line, right here actually, and extract on green. That's perfect. Honestly, over here, this cobblestone generator should be fine. That should have no problems keeping up. Over here, I'm not entirely sure. We may have to upgrade it. I may end up upgrading it to the tier 5. It just takes 8 blaze rods and then 8 emeralds to upgrade it. So emeralds really aren't an issue. Blaze rods are something we don't have a ton of right this second, but we'll get to that. Once we get into Woot, we'll handle that. So anyways, today's episode, I do want to start getting into environmental tech. I really, really do. That's something that, it's one of my personal favorite mods. There's so many awesome things that are added with it, and so many things that are going to fit perfectly into our current build. What I'm thinking is today we'll do environmental tech. Then next episode we will do auto crafting, and then we'll get into Woot. That's going to be our order, I think. So what I did, I haven't actually got the entrance to this area set up yet. I haven't decided how I want to actually have you go down here. But what we're going to do is we're going to be setting up our environmental tech down here for our void miners, which is what we're going to be covering today. Environmental tech basically just adds a bunch of these big multi-blocks and stuff that are absolutely wonderful. The void miners are what we're going to be diving into today. So in order to get into this, I think I have a digital guide right here. Woo. I need to empty that bag out. That's still filled from my trip to the city. So anyways, if we take a look at the digital guide here, you'll see that there's like a lightning rod, a solar array, void ore miners, and resource miners, and nanobot beacons. All 5 of these are big multi-blocks that are added within the mod. Now, I will say that unless we change the biome, lightning rod is probably not something that we're going to get into too much. We may end up changing the biome that we live in, because I would like to get out of the desert. We may change it to like plains or something like that. And if so, we will get rain and lightning storms, so we'll probably end up setting up a lightning rod just to have it. Now, the solar array, the void ore miner, the void resource miner, the nanobot beacons, all 4 of those we are definitely going to do. The solar array is awesome. I do believe we'll end up setting it up maybe up on top of here or something. I don't know. No, probably off to the side, because the multi-block is actually fairly large. It wouldn't look right on the top of this, but off to the side on like the wings of the ship, I think it would look perfect having those big solar arrays. So my only concern is I don't know if sand is going to try to build up on top of the solar array, because if it does, that is going to cause an issue with the solar panels. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, which will probably be fairly soon, honestly. We'll see. But of course, with environmental tech, it adds world gen that you have to get, things like alabaster and basalt, things of that nature. And of course, with this pack, there is no, proper world gen that you would go and mine that kind of stuff. So Sheridan has added the ability to actually craft the initial blocks that you're going to need. You can craft the alabaster. So like right here, it takes stone and then 8 bone meal to get alabaster. Londasolite, I don't believe has a crafting recipe. That is due, some of these things like londasolite and I believe mica is another one. Yeah, that's not, londasolite and mica both are not normally mineable anyway. Those you actually have to make a resource miner to get before you can begin crafting those. And you'll get into that kind of stuff once you start trying to make modifiers. You're not going to be able to do that until you have a resource miner in place. That's due to the fact that those do require mica as well. So I'm thinking today we'll get just a basic resource miner and ore miner in place. Because the reason I want to get into the ore miner is I was thinking about setting up a netherrack setup because I need nether quartz. I need naturally gathered nether quartz because hand making it is awful. Honestly, it's awful doing, using as much as we've had to use for this laboratory blocks and stuff. I have absolutely hated gathering that stuff. But the thing is, this pack doesn't have just a passive way to generate a lot of redstone. Right now, I mean, we're not terrible on redstone, but I don't want to just start dumping that into netherrack to try to get nether quartz, because we'll be out of redstone in no time. And as you guys know, in modded, you eat through redstone when it comes to crafting much of anything. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to set up a void ore miner, and you can actually specify what kind of blocks you want it to focus on when it goes to mine, and it's going to, more often than not, it's going to gather that. For example, nether quartz. To get the nether quartz ore, if you use a clear lens, it's a 4.94% chance to get nether quartz ore. But if you use a white lens preferred, it's going to be an 8.49% chance. So we can actually adjust what we want it to focus on gathering. So anyways, if we take a look here in our environmental tech digital guide, we can click on the ore miner or the resource miner, and we can see, for example, the tier 1 ore miner requires 24 structure blocks, 20 machine bases, 2 laser cores, and a clear laser lens. Now, I will say that we're going to be going straight to the tier 2s. We have plenty of resources. The tier 3s we're going to hold out on because they require like a lot of ender pearls and things like that, and the tier 4s are nether stars, if I recall. So we're going to focus on getting our tier 2s up and going, and then we can upgrade those down the road, because it's all a process of making the tier 1s and then upgrading them to tier 2s and then tier 3s and so on. So making all this stuff right now is not a loss at all. Alright, so for the void resource miner and the void ore miner, they're basically the same structure. It's just basically the controller has changed. But for each of those, we're going to need 32 structure blocks of at least tier 2, 16 machine bases, 4 modifier cores, 3 laser cores, and a clear laser lens. So like I said, we're going to go ahead and just make both of them today. We're just going to go crazy, and we're going to have both of them. So I think that we're going to make our miners, the machine bases, and the structure blocks. I think we're going to make them out of basalt. You can choose between hardened stone, alabaster, or basalt. You can also mix and match if you so desire. I'm going to go with the basalt, because then you have the modifier cores that are more of a white appearance, and then you have a little bit more contrast on the controller block. So I think it'll look good, especially down there in the the bottom of the ship. Anyways, to get basalt, we just need to do stone surrounded with coal. That is not an issue at all. Okay, I take that back. It was actually an issue because I ended up having to go smelt smooth stone because our Cobbleworks hasn't totally caught up just yet. So anyways, we're going to make ourselves a few stacks of this basalt so that we've got it, because you are going to need a decent amount of basalt. Honestly, I'm kind of overkilling it right now. I could probably stop. I should probably stop. So anyways, now we've got that. Of course, coal isn't an issue. Stone isn't really an issue. But so now that we got that, we're going to need 62 structure blocks, or 64 structure blocks, sorry. So we're going to start with 64 of the tier 1s. It just requires a bit of gold and redstone. And so let's get ourselves a stack of those. Not a problem. The tier 2s are diamonds and redstone. A little bit more of an issue, but we've got enough. Okay. Out of curiosity, how many diamonds do we have left? Oh, never mind. That's not an issue. We will roll with it. And so there's that. Structure blocks are easy. They're out of the way. Next up is machine bases. We do need a half stack of those. And so that takes iron bars, redstone, and gold. Iron bars, go ahead and make a bit of those just so we've got them. We use them enough that I don't mind making up 3 stacks of them. And let's get a half stack of this. Now, I got 1 extra, but that's okay. We'll end up using this whenever we expand our machines. That's not a problem. And so next up, so far it's all been fairly easy. Next, I don't know why I removed that. And next up, we're going to need 8 modifier cores. These require a new block, which is clear glass, as well as some smooth stone, blocks of iron. Smooth stone might be an issue. Because I bet it's already used up the smooth stone that I had. Yeah. Cool. Okay, I'm going to have to go smelt some more stone. That's not a problem. But anyways, this clear glass, the way that you get that is you're going to have to get enriched sand, which is combining nether quartz and sand. So, we're out of sand too. God, okay. Let's see, where's it at on things? It's... Okay, it's still making glass out of the sand and silicon. Yeah, lighting is definitely going to be important because temperatures are rising mainly because there's like 50 torches every like 10 feet. So I'll work on that. We're going to do the painting machine for a lot of it. Once we get into advanced rocketry, we will do more lights. I think the lights that I want to focus on with this this build are the advanced rocketry lights and the Ender IO, the little lighted lights like I use over down there, the not the powered lights but the other ones. So lighting is definitely going to be something that I'm going to start focusing on, mainly just lighting up the floors and stuff like that using painted glowstone, I do believe. But anyways, now we have some sand. And how much nether quartz do we have? 279. Okay, cool. I will take it. Let's go ahead and make ourselves a stack of this enriched sand. We'll end up using it. Once we have enough resources coming in, I'm just going to keep a barrel full of this stuff. But nether quartz has been something. Because, like, I don't want to just eat through all of our redstone. So, I mean, it's not an issue. What I do is I still have that area set up where I can take it and I can throw in the redstone and it'll automatically get pumped into lava and all that stuff. Oh, and by the way, just an update on this area. This area is running a bit smoother now. But there's still an issue that whenever I first log on, there is like 9 pieces of copper ore sand in here, and they're stuck in here because whenever I open this up, it's a purple and black missing texture block. And it has some, I can't recall the name. I meant, whenever I first logged on today, I meant to take a picture of it and show it to Sheridan, but it slipped my mind because I just, by instinct, I just pulled it out and went on about my business. But there's always like 9 pieces of this missing texture block, and I'll pull it out, and then it'll turn into copper sand, and then everything will run just fine. So it's almost like this area gets totally reset every time. Like these hammers, if I log off and I log back on, they're back up to almost full durability and whatnot. So, and I don't know, it's very, very strange. Like that chunk resets like every time that I relog, I think is what's the issue. So I'm still trying to figure that out and whatnot. But honestly, we may not even use the whole sieving setup down the road. We'll see. We might still use it a little bit, but I mean, we'll probably still use it just to have the extra resources, but realistically, or void miners are the way to go. I love void miners. Oh my god, they're so good. So anyways, now that we've got that, let's go ahead and get our modifier cores. How many did I say? I said I needed 8. Okay, so we'll get 8 of those. So now we've got our modifier cores, and the next thing that we're going to need is laser cores. We're going to need 3 of these for each one, so we're going to need 6, and they're right here. They require, once again, that clear glass, then just some redstone and iron, so not a major issue. I'm going to have to go grab some more of that clear glass though. And so there's our 6 laser cores, and now the last thing that we are going to need is going to be our laser lens. Now you're going to start with a clear lens, not a problem. We are going to need one of these lens blocks, so we're going to need 2 of those, and I'm going to have to get some more enriched sand, it would appear. The sand's not really an issue because we still have, of course, living in the desert, of course, but we still have bits of sand lying around from when we lived topside, and from all this excavation stuff. I still have a bunch of it up there, so sand's not too much of a concern. I'm not too worried about sand. So anyways, now we can surround this. We'll get our 2 clear lenses. Now in addition, you can also dye these, like I showed you before, to increase the effectiveness. Now, different colors correspond to different blocks. So whatever block you're looking for, like for example, if you wanted to get additional diamond ore, you could look here and see that diamond ore corresponds to cyan lenses. Emeralds are lime lenses, and so on. You have, like, say, Certus is light blue. Same with charged Certus. So if there's a specific ore that you're looking for, you know, just keep in mind that you can dye your lenses to match. Now, ore miners and resource miners are different. Resource miners are going to dig up things like different colors of clay, also like mycelium, like basically all those little building blocks, mica, stuff like that that you would use for building or for crafting and whatnot. And ore miners are going to mine up ores. So that's why we're going to go ahead and make one of each of these different miners. I am going to want a white lens. Very, very easy. Just one piece of bone meal. Not a problem. And we got the achievement for focus that laser. Now, the resource miner, I'm not sure. You can actually, if you hit U on these, you can look and see, like, for example, the blue lens is blue hardened clay, blue slimy dirt. White is instone, diorite, white hardened clay, alabaster, mica, and marble. So yeah, we're going to go with white again. We're going to do a white lens for each of these. I'm happy with it. We may end up changing the lens color. You know, it's not that hard to do. Now, in addition, before we get started with setting these up, one additional thing that I suggest you make is the assembler. This thing is a godsend for this mod, I promise you. Very easy to craft, just a couple pieces of obsidian, and then you can do any kind of structure block. And I'll probably actually have to make an additional structure block. So now we got the ready to assemble achievement. This thing, you can make this stuff by hand, but I don't suggest it. You know, it's a lot like with blood magic. You don't want to manually put down the runes. You want to use the thing that you use. I can't think of the name of it. But anyways, let's take a look here. I may actually have to drop this floor and like build it into the floor maybe. We'll go ahead and look at the tier 4, for example. It's an 11 by 7 by 11. I'm getting a lot of like block rubber banding right now. Like, which is weird because normally that's not something I have unless I'm on a server. Like, only when I'm on like really bad servers has this ever happened. Especially to this degree. I don't know. This is so bad. Oh, no, I was wrong. Look at all this sand. That was one storm, by the way. One storm just rolled in and gave me this much sand. Okay. Good stuff. I could have swore like the last storm that ran through, it didn't do that, but it may have been the direction that the wind came in. Oh yeah, mobs are spawning. This is awesome. That's what happens when you die, by the way. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, what's going on with this? What is this madness? My whole home is being destroyed right now. Sand pouring in and oh my gosh, look at all these skeletons. Okay, they're killing each other now though. Okay, that creeper needs to die. Because he'll explode and like destroy everything. But I'll light that area up in a minute. Oh, and you know what? I totally forgot the most important thing on here. I'm sorry. I forgot to actually make the controller block for the multi-blocks. There is a controller that you have to make, and I totally, because I didn't write it down, because I was thinking that I would be like, you know, using common sense and just remember it, and then I didn't use common sense, so I'm going to dig out this other pit. So these are where it starts getting a little bit expensive for the controllers, because we're going for a tier 2, so we're going to need 3 tier 1s. And each of these require clear lenses and laser cores, blocks of diamonds, blocks of iron, and then a bunch more diamonds and all that good stuff. We're also going to need endstone. Now, netherrack, moss stone, we have that stuff. Endstone is glowstone into a lava barrel. So if we need that, that's not an issue at all. So let's go ahead. Let me get all this stuff crafted up. Blocks of quartz. We've got that. And so there's, whoops, not that one. I'm starting with the void miner. So there's that. But yeah, give me a bit. I've got to get all this stuff crafted up. So I'll be just a minute. And each one of these is going to require 3 of the tier 1s. And also, like the tier 3s, they require just 2. But of course, that's tier 2s that it requires. And then the tier 4s require 2 as well. So you only have to do 3 for the tier 2, but at the same time, then you got to do a bunch more tiers. So just a heads up. Alright, and now that stuff's done, what we can do is we can set up our controller block, and it needs to, like I said, it needs to be at the top center for these. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring that down, and we're going to put our, say, our void ore miner. Yeah, we'll do the void ore miner right here, and we'll go ahead and break this. And then what we can do is we can actually use this assembler, and if you just hold right click on a controller, it's going to build out the structure because it's intelligent. It knows, okay, a void ore miner controller can only be set up one way. And then whenever it's done, it'll say multi-block assembly complete. Now, right now, you'll notice that this one is kind of floating. I went ahead and dug out for the tier 4 because that's what we're going to be working towards. So that is our void, ore miner. And so then over here, we can do the exact same thing with our resource miner. And there we go, multi-block assembly complete. Wonderful. Wonderful stuff. And so now that's done. Like I said, I'm going to leave the floor open so that we can bring that down and everything. Now the actual, let's see, we're going to plug up our dimensional transceiver like right here. And I went ahead and set up a line. This is for the void miners. So we're going to receive power on this line. And the power is actually pumped into this top slot here. Or into the controller. That's what I'm trying to say. I've noticed I've started getting these random like lag spikes too. I don't know what's going on. I don't get it. But anyways, we'll plug our energy up to this. And if the internal buffer on these miners gets filled, that's fine. They're not just going to start chunking items everywhere like some void miners or quarries, that kind of thing like they do. That's not going to do that. These things are amazing. Basically, they're just going to shut off if this gets filled. And let's go ahead and we're going to extract our items out of here. What I'll probably do is I'll probably plug it into the dimensional transceiver. And we'll say you can insert here. And then we're going to go ahead and make an item line here for void miners. We're going to allow it to send items on the void miners line. And so what I want to do is let's set up right over here. I'm going to go ahead and tell this that it can receive items from the void miner line. And then what we'll do, we'll set up a diamond chest right there. And we'll go ahead and say that you can push items through there. And now, to actually get these things running, of course, we have to allow these lasers to see bedrock. That's the next thing. So we're just going to have to dig down here. It's not really much of an issue because I haven't noticed any lava spawning underground. So we can just kind of dig it up. Because these actually, there we go. It's running. You'll notice the laser just kicked on. I got all concerned there. I thought I'd fell through bedrock or something. I was like, how did I dig through bedrock? You're not supposed to be able to dig through that when the laser kicked on. I've never been, that's actually the first time I've ever been down there when the laser kicks on. Because normally I dig these first and then I plug it all up. So, but anyways, we'll dig this next one down. Like as soon as it can see bedrock, it kicks on. It's crazy. And there's bedrock. And we should see this one kick on. There we go. And now they're both running. They can both see bedrock. Everything's good. And if we look in here, we should see... Actually, I don't know if we'll see the items come in. It'll probably be too quick. So we'll go check the chest that we have plugged up. And there we go. You'll notice that we're getting ores and resources. We've got some saltpeter. We've got some charred Certus. And there's some nether quartz ore. Awesome. Now you will notice that the resource miner itself, it runs quicker than the ore miner does. The ore miner, it does take a little bit more time and a little bit more power, and that's because, or a little bit more total power, and that's because, of course, you're digging up ores, where this stuff you're just digging up, dirt and stone and stuff like that. So you notice we have grass, we've got stone, limestone, green hardened clay. You'll get all the different colors of hardened clay, just a heads up. And I am really happy that this mod was added to the pack, because prior to this point, a lot of things like limestone stuff, I don't believe there was actually a way to get that stuff, within the pack. And adding in this will allow you to pretty much get everything in the world you know. This is very, very nice because we're getting mica, we're getting endstone. And what we'll probably do is have the endstone. Oh, we got cobalt. And you'll also notice that cobalt, anything ran through the Tinker's smeltery, you're going to be able to quadruple with the ores in the smeltery. So you'll notice that we get four ingots worth when it's ran through the Tinker's smeltery. So we've already got, we got to do a little bit of infrastructure setup, but we'll have ore quadrupling now that we have environmental tech. So what I plan on doing is I plan on letting this kind of run for a bit and get all this stuff laid out, because then what we're going to do is we're going to make drawers for all of this. Because like right now when we're looking at this run and watching it, it doesn't seem like it's all that fast. But I promise you, you go away for like an hour with this running and you come back and there's just a ton of just crap in here. So, just keep that in mind. This stuff will build up a lot quicker than you might expect. I'm going to love this, because keep in mind that all this stuff, all these ingots and stuff can be quadrupled. And this nether quartz, let's see, what would be the best way for us to process this? I am thinking that immersive engineering crusher is probably the best way, because that's 3 and brimstone. So I think that's probably what we'll do. We'll probably get into immersive engineering and get the crusher up and going before too long. So now that we have this, we can actually build, because before it was pretty much like, here's a sieving system and that's it. That's our ore processing system. But now that we have environmental tech and we're getting ores like that in, we're going to have to do a bit more of an elaborate setup. So, but it's going to be a lot of fun though, because we're going to go for quadrupling with Tinker's constructs. So that's going to be a lot of fun to set up. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys join me for next time, and we'll get into a bit of auto crafting and stuff. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you guys next time.